All right, good morning, y'all. I'm going to talk about riches and the niches. So, how do you get those riches, right? How do you dial your product down enough to get into those markets that have the higher margin? Okay. Well, Pete's coffee this morning in the Starbucks cup. Funny thing about Pete's and Starbucks were one company and then they diverged, right? Read up on that. Anyway, so we're talking about riches and the niches. And I thought that I would start off by talking about what does that mean? Like, how do you get into the so-called riches? Everyone wants to be rich, right? But what's it mean to niche down? Okay, and I thought that I would use this desk as an example to kind of start with. So this desk, right, is a campaign desk. It's there's honestly there's nothing special about this particular desk. Everyone's seen a campaign style desk. They're very popular. They're popularized by Henry Don, American and Martinsville made a bunch of them. And anyway, they're cool. Baker makes a beautiful desk. And what I want to talk about is why am I able to charge almost $20,000 for this desk? Okay, let's open this thing up. We're gonna take a little closer look here. So the desk itself, let's close on this picture. The desk itself, and man, these pictures are terrible. I've got so many better pictures. I'm gonna update these. The thing that makes this desk special, right, is you're gonna start with the finish. Okay, you can see the reflection on the side here. For some reason, you can't see the reflection on the front. But anyway, this is a lacquer desk. Okay, now we're gonna talk about niching down, right? This concept of niching down. Okay, and as furniture makers and as woodworkers, men specifically fall into this trap of making what they want, right? And making what they think other guys will want. And it's very difficult to niche down in that particular, with that particular thought process. Okay. One of the things that really helped me to understand this whole niching down thing and creating products in a space that is honestly underserved is because of my wife. My wife has a great aesthetic and she understands fashion and this kind of ritzy world that I didn't understand, right? I don't understand all that. I'm not trying to say that I do, but she did. And she taught me that, there's this market that is extremely underserved, and it is this high gloss furniture market. Okay. So back to this desk. The desk itself is lacquered. Okay. Now, anyone can lacquer furniture. This is not a new thing. There's nothing special about it. It's just painting furniture. Everyone's done it. Kitchen cabinets are painted, and you'll have seen all kinds of built-ins in your home are painted, shelves are painted, all these kind of things. This type of paint is very difficult to achieve, right? It's high gloss lacquer, which most people don't understand, requires a ton of prep work. And while a lot of people actually probably do understand prep work, they don't understand the amount of prep work, and they're not willing to do it. Okay, because it's very difficult. It's time consuming to teach people to do this stuff, and it's honestly it's very dirty. Okay, so we've niched down from just a campaign desk to a high gloss lacquer desk, right? Not lacquer, but high gloss lacquer. So we're even further into this niche. Okay, so what else do we put in this desk that makes it a little bit more of an exclusive high-end kind of a product, right? So we've cut out all the people that want a stain grade desk, right? Something that's walnut, something that's maple, cherry, these woods that we've all seen before. We've cut out all those customers, right? Now we're into painted furniture, right? Which now we've cut out an even further amount of customers, right? So the amount of customers is even smaller. And then we're going into high gloss lacquer, which is an even smaller group of people. Okay. So instead of having, a million potential customers seeing the sink and thinking, wow, I might want that, we're down to maybe 10,000. It's very small. Okay. Now we're going to go even further. Okay. What we have going on here is brass, right? All of this, what you're seeing right here, is literally just solid brass. Okay. This isn't plated. This isn't painted. This is solid brass. Okay. And honestly, I make this in two different versions. One of these is aircraft plated metal, and the other one is solid brass. Okay. They're very different. And if anyone's interested, I'll go into a video about aerospace metals and private jets and all that kind of stuff. I can talk about that. But anyway, this particular one is brass. Now, you've taken that, say, 10,000 people that might want a high gloss lacquer desk in America, and now you're niching it down with brass. Okay, which means there might be 1,000 people a year that look for something this insane, right? So the poles on this desk are solid brass, right? All the trims along everywhere on this desk are all solid brass. Everything is brass, right? So you have to know how to work with brass. You have to understand how to polish brass, how to machine brass, how to lacquer the brass so that it doesn't tarnish, right? There's another set of skills on top of this. Okay. So you've niched down to a very, very small amount of people, which is why I can sell maybe one or two of these a year, because not only is it super expensive, but it just requires so many skills that most people can't do it, and they don't want to do it. They're not interested, right? Because everyone's chasing the most amount of customers they possibly can, right? So when I say riches in the niches, this is what I'm talking about. It's creating a product that there are not many customers, but when those customers see your product, they're like, I have to have that. Okay. So that's riches in the niches. Okay. Now I'm going to pull back here. Pull back to let's see here. We're going to go back to, since I did that search for desks, I'm going to go to let me go to one more desk. So this desk is another high gloss lacquer desk, because that's what I do. I sell high gloss lacquered furniture to chicks. All right. And yes, there are some dudes that buy my stuff. For the most part, it's chicks. Okay. Which is, again, this is riches in the niches. I've basically gotten rid of all the men. I've gotten rid of all the middle class. I've gotten rid of all the people that, are reaching to buy my furniture. I'm only servicing the clients that can afford it. Right. This isn't a reach purchase. This is a regular kind of, I want this thing, so I'm going to go buy this thing. It's very different clientele. Now, this desk is actually, I call this my express desk. I sold these during COVID. And anyway, it's basically a version of a baker desk. Now, that baker desk was a very expensive piece and cost a lot of money at the time. My desk is more expensive, right? Because it's high gloss lacquered, it's shiny, and it's again, it's only going to a certain kind of client. And there's not a ton of people that are going to buy this. It's very few people that are going to want to spend, what is this thing? $4,000. Let's see what we got here. 4,500 bucks. So yeah, you don't have a ton of people that are going to want to buy this thing, but the people that do want it, it's not a stretch purchase, right? A person that's reaching is not going to buy this thing, right? You want your customers to like your product so much. Like, I've got customers that have 10 or 12 of my pieces in their home, and it's important that you have customers that can do that. And that's the customer that I'm going for when I talk about the niches, right? The niches, however you want to pronounce it. So the other thing we want to talk about, let me pull back here. Let's go back to the home page. The other thing is why are we chasing this customer instead of going after more customers, right? Why are we trying to sell a cheaper product? Why are we going after customers, the million potential customers as opposed to the 1,000 potential customers? Okay. Here's the thing. When you are purchasing products from people that almost need your products as opposed to want your products, those customers that many times are reaching, and you're going to end up with a customer that is extremely picky. You're going to end up with a customer that is more difficult to deal with, which is counterintuitive to most people, but you're just gonna have to believe me. It's very true. The people that want products and buy them are much more agreeable. They're much happier to get that product than people that need your products or people that reach to buy your products. And I think I touched on this a few minutes ago, just a little bit, but I can't say it enough that this is one of the reasons that I operate in what's called the best category. Okay, if you look at the kind of products that people sell, you've got good, better, and best, right? And you can operate in any one of those spaces, but my recommendation, if you want to make the most money, is to operate in the best category. Okay, now why is that? Why is the most money with the fewest customers? Okay, and it's this thing called margin, right? Margin is the thing that most people don't understand. And most people, they think they're making a certain amount of money on a product, but after it's all said and done, after everything's been paid for, come to find out they didn't make nearly as much as they thought, right? So margin, I cannot say it enough, is the only metric that you really need to be watching, right? I mean, obviously, yes, there's sales, revenue, and all that, but chasing revenue will run you out of business faster than anything else. And I can do a whole video on chasing revenue. I did it during COVID. I lost millions of dollars. Right? I spent millions of dollars. I made nothing. Right. So that's an interesting video. Let me know if you want that one. So anyway, the margin is the thing you need to be chasing. Okay, so let's look at a piece of furniture. And I know I was looking at a desk before. Let's go to, we'll find something here real quick, just see what's in our new arrivals. And I like to talk about new furniture as opposed to vintage furniture because it's just easier. Okay, here's the newest thing that I'm making. This is my Pagoda faux bamboo china cabinet. Okay, this is $8,000. Right? People are flipping out like, God dang, I wouldn't pay for that. I'm not going to pay $8,000. And truth is that most people that are going to follow and want this content are going to be men. Okay, and here's the thing, man, you don't understand this. You need to go where the money's at. Okay, and trust me, you think it's in the man's hands. It's not. It's in the woman's hands. Okay, so let's talk about the margin on this faux bamboo Pagoda china cabinet. All right, so truth is I lost money on the first one of these that I made, but I didn't lose a ton of money, right? Obviously. Now I've sold, I think, 4 of these this year, right? So I've sold 4 of these cabinets this year for $8,000 a piece, right? That's pretty awesome. I'm not going to complain about that one bit. I've got a small shop. I don't have a ton of overhead, and we produce these things. This will take me a week to build, believe it or not, right? So let's see what we got. All right, so of this $8,000, okay. Now, the materials on this particular cabinet, I can break this down. I have an Excel spreadsheet that I should pull up, but I'm not going to because of the way that I'm doing this video. I just want to get it done. So the materials on this thing. So each one of these legs cost me about $80, right? So I have an outside vendor that makes all these for me. So we're at 160. We've got plywood in there. There's probably a sheet of plywood, say is $120. We've got some quarter-inch, is going to be another probably $40. We've got the hood here is actually made of 1/2 inch, right? So we're going to have about we'll just call it a sheet there. So we probably got about $500 in just regular wood materials. Okay. The hardware on here, this hardware is my hardware. Okay. I make my own hardware. I get it sourced from India. That's a whole other side of my business. I can talk about that. That's basically going to be revenue streams, revenue generation, that is complementary of furniture. I can talk all about that. The composite that I use, okay, all of this faux bamboo, I'm clicking on this. All of this faux bamboo along here, all this stuff, the fretwork, all this is all faux bamboo. It's all made of composite, right? All the composite that it takes to make this probably costs $10. It's not a lot of money. It is very time consuming. And then the glass, glass isn't that expensive. Glass is probably $150. It's not that bad. The 1/4 inch glass shells is the most expensive part of the glass side of things, right? You got glass on the sides as well. But anyway, so this piece, I've probably got $1,000 worth of material in this thing by the time it's all said and done. Okay, that includes paint, right? The labor side is very expensive. There's probably 40 hours in labor, right? If you figure that every single hour of labor in my shop, I just basically got is $50 because of all the insurance, rent, all those kind of things, power, water, gas, so on and so forth. That's a couple grand. Okay, so I've probably got about $3 grand into this thing by the time it's ready to go, right? And then I got to ship it, right? So tack on another $500 for shipping. I have my own shippers on payroll. I don't outsource it because the customer experience when delivering an expensive piece of furniture is almost more important than the furniture itself. And again, I can do a video on that. Anyway, so I probably got about $4 grand into this thing, right? So I'm making, every time I make one of these, about $4,000, so that's my margin. My margin on this is 100% if all goes well, right? And it never does. But let's just say I make $3,000 on this piece of furniture. That's still insanely good. Okay. The average business makes 10-ish% on the high end. Okay. So most people make, anywhere from 5 to 7%, right? In furniture, you can make significantly more. But the thing with making higher volume furniture is you have to keep your shop running. That's how you make money. It's high volume. Okay. If my shop shuts down, not a big deal. I don't have a ton of furniture that I'm moving. If I have to go to the shop and do work, my shop is still making money because I don't need a ton of people to do all this. Yes, I need people, but if it gets really slow, I can cut my costs very quickly, which keeps my business profitable. Now, this is another piece of furniture I just showed you. Okay, we're talking 100% margin on this piece of furniture. Okay, now I'm going to blow your mind on this whole riches and the niches thing. So I'm showing you that, right? This kind of product is what people lust after. Women lust after this stuff. And I know guys aren't going to understand this. See all this shit right here, all this stain stuff? Let's just click on this real quick before I go back to how I make the most money in niches. So each one of these chests, these are stained chests. I sell these for $4,200. I think this is a set, or this is one. I think this is just one. Yeah, we sold one of these, right? This is a cool chest. I don't even have all the hardware on this thing. I need to update these pictures as well. So all of the drawer boxes are all solid cherry, man. Men love this stuff. I've sold 2 of them, right? I've had this thing for a couple of years. So that's how long it can take you to make money on this thing, okay? Now, the minute I paint this and I show a painted picture of it, man, chicks are going to go crazy for it because they love this stuff. They love the color. I don't get a lot of men looking at this stuff, right? But as men that want to make furniture and want to make money, this is something you need to think about. This is another way to make money. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go back. Let's go to my number one money maker right here. I showed this in my last video. I'm gonna show it again. Right. This cabinet is $5,600. Okay. This is the 80-inch version. Okay. I sell this in 60, 70, 80, and 100. Okay. My 100-inch one is probably closer to $7,000. All right. It's very expensive. Every one of these cabinets probably cost me $1,500 to make. That's all in, right? Maybe 2,000 if things go bad, right? So the amount of money that I'm making on this is upwards of 200%. Okay, it's a very easy cabinet to make. I can actually CNC cut this if I want to improve my margins. I can send my program over to a cutter, have a guy cut the stuff out for me. I don't even need to buy a CNC router, okay? The trick to making this cabinet work is the trims. The trims you want to have made by an outside vendor. You can make these trims on a planer, right? With a jig setup, you can make the angled cuts on a planer. It works out pretty good. But the trick is to have it made by an outside mill house and just get, a couple 100 feet made, and it's super cheap. It's awesome. So this is my number one money making product. I sell, like I said, 50 to 60 of these a year. This is where all the money's at. Okay, this is the niche, right? It's not complicated to make this thing. Okay, now let's talk about this for a second. Okay, how do you compete when you have such an easy cabinet to make, right? If it's so easy to make, why is it so profitable? Okay, because here's the truth. When you have a niche, people will chase profits. And when you have a niche like this, a lot of people will want to get into this industry to take away some of that margin, to take away some of those profits, right? Industry chases margin. Great example right now is this whole AI thing. If you look at this company, NVIDIA is selling chips, right? They sell these chips, they make a crap ton of money. Well, now you got a lot of other companies saying, AMD, ASD, all these companies trying to get in and grab some of those profits, and they're making their own AI chips, right? It's like I said, everyone's talking about it. But anyway, point is that industry chases margin. We have been able to keep margins on these products for a long time because people don't want to go through the bullshit of hiring people and dealing with labor in America. It's very difficult. It's very hard to hire people. It's very hard to find good employees. And again, I could do a video all about hiring, firing, and why it is so difficult to manufacture things in America. So anyway, this is a quick video on margins, and I don't know how long I'm at. I'm at 18 minutes, right? Click back out of this thing. 18 minutes. Yeah, so riches are in the niches. So if you can find a niche that is being underserved and go in there hardcore, you will make money. It will take time. It will take building up a name for yourself. It will take building up customer experience. It will take up a lot of things. So one of the things I'll point to real quick is if you want to, let's talk about reviews and talk about customer experience, customer loyalty, and all these things real quick. Let's see, I don't remember where the heck I have all this stuff. We're going to look at reviews, okay? Got consultants, frequently asked questions. I apologize. Maybe I just got to click on a piece of furniture. That's how well I know my website. Huh? I don't even mess with my website, to be quite honest with you. I have people that do all this. And again, I talk about that. I'm working on developing websites, having people take care of your websites. And believe it or not, it's not done in America. It's done by people in the Philippines. So anyway, okay, so we're going down to customer reviews, okay? This is customer reviews, right? And we got to the reviews by going through this particular piece of furniture. And I guess as it goes through everyone. So 419 reviews and a lot of high reviews. And everyone focuses on the good reviews. Like, look at all these amazing reviews I have, okay? everyone's super thrilled with the customer experience. And when you deal with a niche product, when you deal with a product that, in my case, is rather delicate, the customer experience is everything. You have to deliver a amazing customer experience. And I learned this from working for Gulfstream, which if you Google Gulfstream, you'll see it's the creme de la creme of private jets, right? And customer experience is everything, right? And I was told this, you can write this down, remember this. I was told when I worked in aerospace that there's only so many people that will spend $50 million on an airplane, right? So you have to treat those customers like gold. And it's the same way when you're in a niche, right? When you're in a very tight knit group of people that can potentially purchase your product, you must treat them like they are everything. And it's, a lot of people don't like hearing that, but it's just the truth. Okay, so go down these customer reviews. Got lots of great customer reviews, but and I haven't gone through this yet. But let's look at and see if we can click on what's the crappy review. Let's see here. It says it's beautiful work. It looks big in the picture, but there's not enough space inside. I've had mine for a month. The color started to chip off with the amount of money. It's not worth it. I wish I could return mine back. Okay, so this is interesting. So what she is saying is she bought a credenza, right? 80-inch credenza, and there's not enough space inside, right? So the question I would ask myself is she correct, right? Is there not enough information in my product page when it comes to this credenza, right? And if we go through and we look at the pictures, let's see, do we have any pictures that go to the inside? This is all, okay, yes, these are our inside cavities here. And we know that we have 5 cavities, excuse me, 5 doors, and we have 3 cavities, right? So any person that's going to spend $5,600 will do the math pretty good there. So I'm not worried so much about that particular part of the review. The says that the color started to chip off. Okay, so this is very common with lacquered furniture, right? Which is why we put touch-up kits in all of our furniture. It's very common information if you're in the lacquered furniture space. Okay, now the other thing, for this amount of money, it's not worth it. I wish I could return mine back. Okay, if a customer asked me to return a piece of furniture or was unhappy with a piece of furniture, I've actually flown to their homes on many occasions. I've flown to New York, California, New Orleans, Chicago, all these places to work on my customers' furniture. Okay, so this customer probably did not reach out to us. This customer could have been very difficult to deal with. This customer, there could have been all kinds of things going on here. But when you have a very expensive product, you have to provide the best customer service, right? Which can lose you money when you're trying to keep that margin really high, but you have to maintain your customer. It's the most important thing when you're dealing with a niche, right? A very, preferably an expensive niche, okay? So I would reach out to this customer and say, hey, what's going on? How can I fix this for you? So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. So I'll go to another poor review because those are, to me, those are the only ones that matter. Beautiful piece in general, but one of the doors didn't stay closed and pops open. The shelves inside didn't seem to be, they're painted as well, large marks, blah, blah, blah. Well, I understand the antiques are not, oh, okay, this is someone that bought an antique piece of furniture. So not all these reviews are specific to this particular piece of furniture. So in my mind, that's something I actually want to work on a little bit. Let's see here. I do expect the craftsman's intention detail to be equivalent to the cost of the piece. Not great, but okay from a distance. Yeah. So these are good. This is all fantastic information, and I'm gonna have to work through this stuff and kind of see what's going on here. But the point is you want to make sure that your customers are very happy. And if we go through the reviews, here's the thing about reviews. When you're dealing with very expensive pieces of furniture, believe it or not, people are more apt to leave better feedback than not leave better feedback, which is generally not the case. If you go on Amazon, you'll find that people are much more apt to leave a crappy review because they're pissed off than they are to leave a great review because they're happy. So I would tell you that the fact that overwhelmingly the majority of our customers are very happy, and that's about as good as you can expect, right? I would never trust a website that didn't have any poor reviews, and that means they're deleting reviews, and that's not good. But we have a ton of fantastic feedback, which is, again, this is how you build that customer base to be able to sell to extremely high-end, low groups of customers. And it's, again, it's very difficult. It takes a lot of time. But if you can do it, you can find that niche, you can work your way into it and provide a great customer service, great product. It pays really well. So anyway, I need to get this video done. So last thing I'll say is that while I do have a niche and I have a really cool product, thanks to my wife, um, it's not. I'm not rich by any means. I don't, have, I'm not balling out of control. I have a business, and a business is very difficult. And in my mind, it's never easy to make money. So when I say riches are in the niches, it is not easy. There are months where I lose money, right? There are years that I've lost money, and I can do videos on all this stuff to talk about it, because the whole point of this channel is to be very real about running a company, having a business as an uneducated person, right? I have no degrees. I didn't graduate high school. And I think this is very valuable for people to hear this kind of stuff and get this information from a real person, right? So you can come to my business any day of the week and you'll see people making things. You'll see people painting things. You'll see what an actual business is. I'm not selling a book. I'm not selling a course. I'm not selling anything. I'm just regular Joe running a business and trying to make sure that my employees have something to do, right? My employees have a paycheck and that my customers are happy. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to go work for somebody else. I enjoy doing this thing, and I can't see myself working for somebody else ever again. And it's a shit ton of work, but it's worth every penny. And my goal is to help other people do this kind of stuff, So anyway, I hope everyone has a good day, and I will continue to make these videos and talk about topics that people are interested in. So have a good one.